It is music to a bass angler's ears. There we go. Yeah. Oh wow, the water looks so good. All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Be the Fish. And on today's video, you guys asked and we are gonna make a video on it. So it's another video where we are putting out into the ether what baits you guys want us to catch fish on, and then we are gonna go make a video dedicated to entirely that. You can see we got this Garcia goodness here in the field of it behind me, and we are taking this big old weight right yonder, and we are gonna go punch it into a bunch of these clumps. So you asked, and we're gonna go punch in and hopefully catch some bass for you guys. But the setup before we start doing all this is a Abu Garcia. It's a Fantasista X. It's a 711 extra heavy. So that's my favorite punching rod right here. We got 65-pound Durabraid on here, Shimano SLX. We got a 1 ounce queen tackle, tungsten weight, 2 pegs on there, a Owner Jungle heavy duty flipping hook right there at the 3/0, and then a Rapala Crush City cleanup craw, perfect little bluegill pattern here that we're gonna send through some of these milfoil clumps.
Very, very well in content, and then let that company take that piece of content and use it as an ad. That's where the power lies.
Makes sense to me. There we go. Hold on. Get in here, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Punch fish.
I like it.
Crikey.
Listen to punch fish. I'm gonna go in here.
Oh, that's funny. Good old Alex. All right. Well, punch fish number 1. Already might need a new bait. Kind of went through that cleanup crawl pretty good. We're Gucci, but look at this. Look at all this grass. This topped out milfoil. Some string grass mixed in. It's just asking for a big weight to get sent through it. Nothing that beats that. When your line goes through, goes boom, or even when the mat shakes, it's glorious. So I just got a little bit of line on here. A lot of fluorocarbon backing, actually. You don't need to use that much line, especially when you're punching. A lot of times I target the isolated stuff in the edges of these places. Like you see this grass point that comes along here. We caught one right here out of this isolated stuff that's right on the edge. You can get bit in the middle of stuff, but typically it's the edges that they're going to stick to you, specifically just to ambush stuff. That's usually where you'll get bit, especially punching. You find the same with frogging. It's a lot harder to go and find a group of fish punching through a whole field of matted grass, where usually the frog is usually much better at locating a group of fish. But man, punching is the best way to slow down and pick through some fish and really get some big bites. And gosh, it is a whole freaking lot of fun. Wrenching out and hearing that line sing, it is glorious. It is music to a bass angler's ears. Got a bunch of bait hopping around the edges. I'm hearing some bluegill popping. We should be able to catch a decent amount of fish doing this today. You don't want to flip too far out. You definitely can. But I like to keep things tight, within a 20-foot or less flip. Because don't be afraid. Like they'll eat it right here in front of you. Because if they're under that cover and a thicker mat, they're not leaving. They feel safe there. They're there for a reason. A longer rod, in my opinion, you can get away with a 7-foot all the way to an 8-footer. I have a 711 right now. I just feel like that the bigger rod, the heavier rod, gives me a lot of leverage, especially if I miss a bite. The rod really does do a lot of the hook set for me. God, there's bait running through the freaking mat up there. So we got bait jumping right in front of us. I really thought we were going to get a fish on there. I typically like to punch with a 1 ounce, but really, as long as you can get through, you don't need to go too heavy. I mean, if you need to sky it a little bit, moonball that, then, you know, definitely do that because you need to get through. But so long as you can get through that main canopy fairly easy. You don't need to go too heavy. One little trick I've learned is when you're flipping and you're punching into that grass, as soon as it goes to hit the water, put your thumb on the reel, because what it's going to do is that bait's going to be flying this way, and when you put your thumb on it, it'll catch that line and it'll make the head of the weight go in first. So you'll get a little bit better grass penetration versus just letting it plop. So hit your thumb right before it goes in and it'll point that weight down. Let the weight go first. So I'm not getting a lot of bites. I may be like lifting once when I flip into spots. Like I'll flip, lift, nothing, leave. Flip, hit bottom, lift, nothing, leave. So if they're not in that area, it's not worth wasting your time lifting 3-4 times. And if you got a piece of cover you can go hit, like this dock or something like that, you know, maybe give it 2, but for the most part, if there's a fish in that area, they're gonna eat it. But it shouldn't take more than 1 or 2 lifts to get bit. If you're covering water, you don't want to be wasting all that time. A little too loud of a splash. The less splash you can get, the better. Like the more quieter you can get that thing through, the more likely you're going to be to get bit. Because quieter, the better the surprise. The more surprise, the likelier you're going to get a reaction bite, which is entirely what the punch bite is. It's a reaction bite. That's why typically, bait-wise, it doesn't really matter all that much unless you need to, you know, rise and fall it a few times. But typically the bait doesn't matter all that much besides color. And darker the better, usually under grass mats. The other thing too, so the bigger rod, the longer rod, the 7-11 extra heavy, allows you, one, to have a lot more leverage throwing a 1 ounce weight. Like this 1 ounce weight feels like nothing on this rod, but it gives you so much more leverage when trying to flip. You can be a lot more accurate, sustain that weight a lot better than if you had a softer rod. It'd be a little bit more difficult to make some of these flips and handle that weight, especially get fish out. So the bigger rod, typically in my opinion, is the better. And you don't need to just freaking wail on them when you get bit either. It's kind of like a sweep hook set almost. I mean, sometimes I get trigger happy and I swing, but you don't need to. The rod's so stiff and you got 65-pound braid, you can kind of just lean. You'll see if I do freaking finally get a bite. I'll show you what it looks like. But oh, I freaking got bit. We finally got a bite. Probably not very big because he didn't have it. There we go. You might not believe I have a bass, but I do, under all this grass. Not very big, but it's a fish. We did it. Thank you, buddy. And he's done it. Heck yeah, that's more like it. A little bit lighter weight. Grapple a bronco bug. Get off of there. There we go. All right, stuck in my drive. That's a better one. Heck yeah. Hey, bud. So we switched up to 3/4 ounce weight, 40-pound braid, Same size hook. Pretty sure it's the same hook. Or no, excuse me, it's the lighter hook. This is actually a Gamakatsu flipping hook. The other one is a heavy duty owner. This is a Rapala Crush City Bronco bug. And a little bit lighter rod. It's a 7.6 heavy, so not too much different. But yeah, 7.11 extra heavy is a little bit different than a 7.6 heavy. But it worked just fine. That was the little bait we were flipping in there. It's a 3/4 ounce clean tackle tungsten, 7.6 heavy, 40-pound braid, an old Abu Revo STX. Who knows? Maybe a 3/4 ounce is the way to go. Maybe the big 1 ounce is too big for him right now, or too fast. But that was a better bite. It was fun. Oh, there we go. Oh, I just got freaking crunched. We just got crunched. Stealthy. Get out another Bronco bug. That's 2 bites pretty quick on this clump. Might be able to go back in through there and the other stretches and see if we can get bites again with a 3/4 ounce. Because it very well could be the fact that we're throwing too heavy of a weight potentially. The wind's pushing me deeper into this. I gotta get rigged up and throw back in there. Wow, this is turning into much more difficult than I had anticipated. Wow, this is turning into much more difficult than I had anticipated. The grass is there, the bluegill are there, the bass are not there. It looked like somebody might have fished through there earlier this morning. Not very well. I guess, I don't know. There weren't that many fish there. This might resort into a little fluorocarbon jig flipping trip. Because they apparently do not want to be in the grass. And it's not obviously the greatest conditions for grass fishing, but they don't leave the grass, and they're gonna stay around it, and especially feed. It doesn't matter if it's cloudy, if it's overcast, they're gonna be in it feeding somewhere. So we're gonna ditch it. We might go try some other grass stuff in a different spot, but otherwise we might be flipping a jig on some docks and laydowns and stuff like that. And if that doesn't work, then we're in bad shape. It's all good. It's a beautiful summer day. Got some overhanging trees. We'll go skip a bait under, see what we can make of this thing. Not always do you set out with intentions of catching them on one thing and actually catch them on that. Very rare. Yeah. Yes. That's what I'm talking about right there, dude. In the tree. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, bud. Well, that was awesome. Bummer the back camera didn't get that angle, but it's okay. Flipped into the tree, went down, was lifting up, and I was like, there's a fish on there. Whack. Pretty decent one, too. I saw this fry sitting right here. I'm like, there ain't no way there's not a fish right here. Thank you, bud. Little Juan, but the fun Juan. This freaking padded are loaded. This mat right here's got him. Doug. All right, well, that's fun. This happens a decent amount of time in the summer. Sometimes it's sporadic, and then there's times where you'll find a mat that's just got all of them. It's just got a good population of fish. Missed one on the frog. Missed one punching. Caught one punching. Caught two punching. This time. Got him on the frog. Okay. Thank you, buddy. Terrible hook set. But a fun frog fish. This little mat freaking loaded, dude. Thought I got a decent amount flipping, but apparently they want the frog. Alright guys, well that is going to wrap up our little punch-in video. So we had two different setups for today. And hopefully you guys gathered some tips from the different things we were talking about. Able to go implement that when you go punching grass, punching mats, things like that. We had two setups. The main one was one we went over already. That was the 711 extra heavy 65-pound braid Shimano SLX. We got a 1 ouncer on there, and a Zoom Z-Craw. And that is for your bigger, heavier weights, 711, a bigger rod. That's where you really got to get through. You can even use up to 1.5 ounce, all the way up to 2 ounces with that rod if you need to, if you need that kind of weight to get through the mats. The lighter one we had for a little bit more sporadic grass and some of those mats that we're able to get through, we had the Rage Bug here that we did have a Bronco bug on to begin with. That's a 3/4 ounce tungsten 40-pound braid. And then we had the 7.5 heavy U-Call Eclipse Ebu Garcia STX, and like again 40-pound braid, so a smaller setup to go and flip some more sporadic stuff, flip those trees, things like that. But two different setups that you can utilize with braid to flip in the summertime. Hopefully this video helps. If you guys have another technique bait that you want to see me go and make a dedicated video like this one to, drop it down below, and chances are I'm going to take your comment and go and make a video of it. Appreciate y'all for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.